Yeah, real quick, one thing before we get into the video, I just want to say like everybody wants to take the test because that's the easiest way to do it, but nobody want to do the hard part, which is learn cognitive function because you actually have to put in some effort and you actually have to put some time in. It takes a little patience, things like that. Nobody wants to do that because that takes more patience. Everybody wants the easy route. Everybody wants a shortcut. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to like getting what you should get out of Myers-Briggs, it's going to take a little effort. And also people don't like to do the inner work because it takes a lot of inner work too to really figure out. You have to actually figure yourself out and figure out how you fit into Myers-Briggs 16 types for real. Versus like people want to take it. Anybody can go take a test. I'm not saying it take like what 10, 20 minutes. You know what I'm saying? That's easy. That's why everybody wants to do that. That's why when you like go tell people like, hey, cognitive functions, that takes time though, people like dismiss it. That's really one of the main reasons. But stay tuned. Like this person took the test, got INFJ. I got INFJ. Oh, and now I fit in. That's kind of how they looking at it, and I don't like that. What up, y'all? So let me talk about this real quick. Back on the INFJs a little bit. So if you let's put it like this. If you took the test and got INFJ, this video is for you. This is for kind of the new people. And this is also to shed light on an issue a little bit. But with not SE down. Also, I was just sweating. I hope I don't look sweaty anymore. I was just playing basketball. I just drove about 20 minutes. I think I stopped sweating. I need to go take a shower. But anyways, people that take the test and get INFJ. So this is a problem because a lot of times people don't get it. You can try to tell them that the test don't matter, but it still like goes over their head. It's like they don't understand it. And it's like they feel like, I don't know, man. Sometimes they think like you're trying to, I don't know, like you're trying to control them. Or so I don't know what they think. It's kind of like they think you're trying to control them and tell them. But it's like, if you're just going off the test, you're missing out on so much of like what Myers-Briggs actually is. And you're just doing it wrong. You know what I'm saying? That's just what it is. It's like you might as well not doing it if you're going to be doing it wrong, type of thing. But a lot of times people take the test, get INFJ, but they don't realize the test is made for you. It makes it hard for you to type as anything else because of the way the questions are. The questions are made so that it's easy to pick an answer that's going to lead to INFJ, whether you're INFJ or not. So, like, you tell people this, they don't get it. Like, when you tell them, like, literally, like, 90% of people, they'll be like, oh, I'm a this type because I took the test and this is what I got. But when somebody tells me what type they are, I always ask them, well, do you know about cognitive functions? And usually they say no. I don't think I've met one person that just told me they knew. And usually I kind of tell them like, yeah, you got to learn about cognitive functions before you like really know, because the test don't mean anything. Always goes over their head. They're like, what do you mean? Try to explain it to them and they just don't get it. I don't like, it's really hard for me to relate with because I have been into it for so long. It's been so long since I've been a beginner. So it's hard for me to explain to them. And also too, I think sometimes people get emotionally attached to whatever type they get on that test. And it's really easy because it's almost becomes almost like a placebo type of thing. Because if somebody tells you you're this type, whatever type it is, even if you're not that type, if you don't know anything about any of the other types, you'll just automatically just assume. It's very easy. You'll make everything that you're reading fit you. You'll find a way to make it fit you, even if it's not. Well, even like without really understanding the context of it, it's very easy to do that, and people don't realize they do that. It's like they get their emotions into it, and they get like emotionally attached to the idea of being a certain type, of being an INFJ. That they do that. It's easy to do, and also too, sometimes they write those descriptions wrong. They'll say things about INFJs that are not true necessarily for INFJ. Like I made a video about this before. They take traits from other types and they'll say that it's an INFJ thing when it's not. Like they'll take a lot of traits from like SE doms, a lot of things that tend to be true about SE doms. Like for example, they'll say INFJs are very talented, which I'm not saying you can't be talented, but they'll make it seem like they're the most talented type when they're not. Like SE extroverted sensors are pretty much the most talented. People don't talk about that enough. But as far as like naturally gifted and talented extroverted sensing, probably ESFPs, they're probably the most naturally gifted and talented. But they don't get enough credit. You know what I'm saying? They'll try to give the credit to the INFJs on that. Which I'm not saying they can't be talented. Of course they can. Every type can be talented. You know what I'm saying? That doesn't always have anything to do with type. But they exaggerate things. That's the problem. When they're exaggerating things and they're taking traits from other types, like stoicism. Stoicism isn't an INFJ thing. That's another example. That's an ISTP thing or ISTJ thing. Like we're the most stoic, probably. INFJs not necessarily. They think they're stoic. So a lot of times they can perceive themselves as stoic because of tertiary introverted thinking. It makes them think that they're more stoic than they are. They don't realize when they're showing things on their face, their emotions on their face. So they can think they're stoic when they're trying to hide their emotion, but they're not as stoic as they think they are. But also in descriptions, they lie and say stuff like that too, and that adds to the problem. Like I took the test, it says this, and then I read some of this stuff on this description, and I kind of get, yeah, I kind of fits me, and it becomes a placebo thing. So now you think everything, you just start taking it out of context. So a big part of understanding this stuff, you have to understand the context of it. That's actually the main part about understanding Myers-Briggs. You have to understand the context. You have to take time to make sure that you understand the context. You can't just assume that they're talking about what you're thinking about. You know what I'm saying? Because that's somebody else talking. Like people do that without realizing they're reading stuff about Myers-Briggs and they'll think like assume that they're talking about the same thing that they would expect them to be talking about when they not necessarily. Takes a while to get the gist of what they're trying to say, and it's like you have to take the time out to really try to get that. You can't just assume that you get it. But yeah, people take the test, and it's like another thing to bring up too. INFJs are supposed to be the rarest type. If that's the case, why is it that 90%? I'm telling you, like literally, I haven't looked at like I don't have any statistics on this, but I'm willing to bet a lot of money if they did some type of statistic study on how many people that take the test type as INFJ, it would probably come out as like 80 to 90% or something like that. Because literally 80 to 90%, based on my personal estimate, like me talking to hundreds of people, I say like 80 to 90% of them, of the people have taken the test, say they tested as INFJ. Even if it's not that high, it's definitely a large majority of them. Like it's rare to hear somebody genuinely take the test on their own and say that they got something else other than INFJ. So if that being true, like you taking all these random people, INFJ is supposed to be the rarest type. How is it this many people how is it that there's this many people typing as INFJ? Like people don't ask themselves is that much. And then they kind of come with excuses a lot of time. They might say like, oh, because it just tends to be a subject that INFJs gravitate to, and something like that. Like that's not valid because it's popular enough to where anybody can hear about it. I'm not an INFJ and I gravitated to it. And there's people that gravitate to it that are not INFJs. I give you that. Maybe INFJs are more likely to gravitate to this subject. ENFJs, INFJs, a little more likely than other types, but still, that's still not enough. You know what I'm saying? So like take that and, like if all these people like are testing as INFJ, then something's off. You know what I'm saying? Because it's supposed to be the rarest type. It's not supposed to be that many INFJs walking around. Now, do we know for sure if it's the rarest type? No. There's no way of really knowing for sure, but just based on what, they say, it doesn't make sense. Something doesn't add up, But yeah, if you took the test and got INFJ, you need to start learning about cognitive functions if you want to. Yeah, it's like now you're misinformed. Like it becomes a thing while people are being just misinformed. Um, like the test, like I honestly feel like, well, if they got rid of the test, it probably would make the popularity of Myers-Briggs would go down quite a lot. But if you took the test and got INFJ, just know it's a good chance you might not be an INFJ. You know what I'm saying? I've had people come to me and say they took the test also, and they were actually INFJs, of course, but a lot of times people are mistyped from taking them tests, man. You can't really go off of it, But yeah, I hope it makes sense. I mean, it's I try to explain this like so many times to people. They don't get it a lot of times. Maybe some of y'all that's watching Y'all might have better ways to explain it. I don't really. I'm still trying to figure out better ways to explain things to beginners because I'm not the best at helping beginners because I've been into it too long. Real hard for me to relate with a beginner because I've been learning about it for a very long time. So it's real hard to remember what it was like to be a beginner for me. So yeah. Anyways, I think that's mostly what I got to say. Thanks for watching. Oh yeah, psych, I lied. Actually, I'm not finished, but I forgot to add a few things. But I'll say one of the main reasons that we having these issues and people taking the test is I don't know. People confuse what's popular with what's right. A lot of times, people will see a bunch of people do something and they assume it's the right thing to do just because a bunch of people is doing it. But most of the time, especially in today's society, a lot of people do things that are just plain wrong. Um, well, a lot of times, what's popular is actually the wrong thing to do. So people think because it's popular to take the test and it's less popular to focus on cognitive functions that the test must be the right way sometimes. Because sometimes you'll tell them, like a lot of times people will try to tell them it's about cognitive functions. A lot of times they won't get it, but sometimes they'll hear you, but they'll assume that you don't know what you're talking about just because everybody else isn't doing it. They're just trying to hop on a bandwagon pretty much. And I don't like that. That's kind of weak minded if you ask me. Um, and a lot of times people just don't like to think for themselves and stuff like that, of course. But that's what I've seen, man. A lot of people do that, even when they know something is not right to do. It's because everybody else is doing it. They think, like, oh, they just do it. Also, on top of that, people are just trying to be in the Myers Briggs because it's a trend. Um, they're just trying to hop on a bandwagon kind of thing, and yeah, that's not genuine as well. But that's another thing though. So everybody sees, okay, I took somebody. This person took the test, got INFJ. I got INFJ. Oh, and now I fit in. That's kind of how they looking at it, and I don't like that. But y'all gotta stop trying so hard to fit in, man. Like, if you're gonna use it proper way. You know what I'm saying? Or it's kind of dumb to just use Myers Briggs and then do it in the wrong way or do it in a way that's inauthentic. Because the test is just really just for only reason tests are around is just for popularity to make Myers Briggs more popular. Really, but other than that, they're not very useful. It's like the easy mode. It's like you got a video game on easy mode, pretty much. Anyways, I think that's what I forgot to add. So that's it. Thanks.